Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. We are going to visit Waimea Falls today in Oahu, and this is going to be a layout that has a lot of foliage in it. So there'll be a lot of green and some amazing trees and great stuff in the photos. Let's see what the layout's going to consist of. Let's get started and check out my workspace. Okay, so this is the last page that we did together, the right side of the last layout that we did together. So these were plants from the Dole plantation that we got to see, which was pretty fun. Today's layout is going to focus on what we did after we were at the Dole plantation. We continued towards the North Shore and we came upon a very well-known set of food trucks. One of them is a shrimp truck that everyone had recommended that we visit, and we found this really cool older church in that area. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember what the name of the little town was that we were near. Let me see if I can check my notes here real quick. But I think we were on our way to Waimea Falls, so that's a layout that's coming up. But this was, I want to say Haleiwa, but it might not have been quite that far. Anyway, we stopped at Giovanni's shrimp truck, which was really fun. It had all this graffiti all over it, which was really cool. I rarely take pictures of my food, guys, so the fact that I took a picture of this was, pretty remarkable, because I just don't take pictures of food. But we had a great time, and the food was very, very yummy. And so if you're ever on Oahu and in that area, I would definitely stop. It's very well known. There's another one over closer to Turtle Bay, I believe. And anyways, just really, really yummy. And I highly recommend it. So we're just going to do those 4 pictures today on a 2-page spread, which may seem excessive to you, but my next layouts will be of Waimea Falls, and I just didn't want to break that up and do 1 page of the shrimp truck and 1 page of some of Waimea Falls. I wanted to try to keep it all together, so that's what we're going to do today. I have a couple of laser borders of just some leafy boughs that we may use as part of this layout, so I'm going to just set those over here. And then I have some dark green cardstock. I have 2 more pieces from the pineapples and palms papers that we're going to use. We used that on the last layout, you may recall. And then I have some paper that has these huge monstera leaves. Honestly, I don't remember where it came from. It may have just been something I picked up at a craft store somewhere along the line, but we're going to probably use some of that today. And then I have this cute little journal box from, I think this was from Boho Escape. So I think we'll probably use that as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our trimmer and use some of this green cardstock. And we're going to cut 2 4x4 squares. So I'm going to just cut, actually I'm going to go long ways, and I'm going to cut just a 4-inch strip. Then we're going to turn it horizontally and cut 2 pieces that are 4 inches, so they'll be square. And actually we have 3 4x4 squares, but we'll just set that one aside. And these 2 are going to stack on top of each other, and we're gonna turn them on the diagonal and cut from corner to far corner. So I'm just gonna line up the points on my cutting line and go ahead and just cut through both at the same time. So corner to corner, okay? 2 will be on the right side, 2 will be on the left side. So I'm just gonna set those over like so. All right, now I'm just gonna check my plans here just a little bit so I don't lead you astray. Okay, so we are going to come back to the dark green and do some mats, but for right now I'm going to set that aside and we'll get back to it in a minute. Right now, in fact, I'm going to set the monstera leaves aside for a minute too. Right now we're going to focus on these 2 papers. And we're going to do several just straight cuts and then kind of go back and do some others. So first we're going to start with the kind of flecky, it's on the back of this pineapple wedge looking paper. These I believe are supposed to be the pineapple wedges, which is kind of cool. Especially worked well, this kind of paper, for the dole plantation that we just did. So I need 2 1-inch strips. So I'm just going to cut 2 1-inch strips. And then I'm going to stack these. Don't let this go too far away. We're going to cut 1 inch off of these, so they'll be 1 inch by 11 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to use that shoulder at the top, measure to the 1 inch mark on the right hand side, and snip off 1 inch worth of that paper. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I want to be able to build a frame, and I want to cut this with a mitered edge, and it's going to be a 45-degree angle. And if you have your CM trimmer, then you already have a 45-degree angle on your table, so that's fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it upside down, and we're going to go ahead and use that angle and put the upper part of our paper, this upper edge of our paper, right along that angle mark, and the top corner is going to go right on the cutting line, just like that. Now we're going to cut that off. I'm cutting through 2 pieces, remember, because I have these pieces stacked. Okay, so we've got a couple little triangles there. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so here's this angle. I'm going to put the top edge against the 45-degree angle mark. Bring that corner down to my cutting line right here. And make sure my pieces are together, because it looks like they're kind of doing their own thing. That's better. Okay, so now I'm going to just cut through both pieces to miter that corner as well. Okay, so one goes on the left side again, one goes on the right side. Now I'm going to take that same paper again, and I'm going to cut 4 more 1-inch strips. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so with our 4 1-inch strips, we want to miter a couple of them, or we want to miter them all, but only on one corner, okay? So essentially I'm making the piece that's going to join up with this piece and with this piece. Does that make sense? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take two of them, and two of them we're going to cut going this direction with our pineapples up, and we're going to miter just that one edge, and then we're going to flip those two around and we're going to cut a 1/2 inch off, only a 1/2 inch, okay? Don't go longer than that, just a 1/2 inch. So you would have a strip that is 1 by 11.5, and then you miter one edge, that edge right there, okay? One of these is going to go on the bottom on the left, like so. One of them is going to go on the top on the right. Then we're going to take these other two pieces, we're going to flip them over to the gold side, or whatever your equivalent is to the gold side, depending on what papers you're using. And I'm going to put the top edge up there on the 45-degree angle mark. Go ahead and cut that corner, only one corner. Then we're going to turn this, put it against the shoulder at the top, and cut a 1/2 inch off, because we only need this to be 11.5 inches. Okay, cool, so that one's done. Then this one's, one of them will go on the bottom over here, the other one will go on the top over here. Okay, now we're going to take this other paper, or actually what we'll do is take the same paper and we'll flip it over, because we want this side now, and we're going to cut two that are 1/2 inch long, two strips that are 1/2 inch. Okay, and each of those two strips that are 1/2 inch, we are going to miter on both sides, but they don't need to be this long. Let me just double check. Yeah, these are going to be 11 inches long, so we want to trim off 1 inch of the paper. So there's 1 inch. We're going to trim that off. Then we're going to do the same thing with this that we did with the other end pieces. We're going to put the gold side up and the top of the gold side against the 45-degree angle mark, and then just cut that corner off. Okay, then we're gonna take that stack of two and flip it over, and we're gonna do the same thing on the pineapple wedge side. 45-degree angle mark, corner on the cutting line, cut that mitered edge. Okay, then one goes kind of stuck together. One goes on the left, one goes on the right. Okay, then we're going to take our paper back again. We're going to cut 4 more 1/2 inch pieces. This will just take a second here. This is a design that I am modifying from a layout I saw in the CM layout and border book. The first one that they came out with, before they came out with the one that was just borders. So we're going to take 2 of our 1/2-inch strips, and we're going to do just like we did with our others. We're going to cut a 1/2 inch off. Okay, so 1/2 inch. To bring it this way just a little. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to leave it gold side up. Leave our 2 pieces together. And again, miter just 1 corner, not 2 on this one. Just 1 corner. It really helps me when I'm doing these kinds of layouts it helps me to have something different on each side of my paper. If you're doing a layout and the sides of your paper are not diverse enough, this will get really confusing really quickly. So try to make sure that you choose a paper to do this that has maybe a light and a dark side, or a definite difference so that it's easier for you. I'm just cutting again that 1/2 inch off to make this 11.5. Then I'm going to take the gold side. Remember, we already cut the gold angle, so we're going to flip this over to the pineapple wedge side and put this down like so. Okay, and then 1 on the lower and 1 on the upper. All right, let's do some assembly and we'll see what more we need to do. Okay, so first we're just going to kind of assemble. Actually, let's do this. First we're going to put the green bits in the corners so that they are stabilized and not floating around our workspace. Okay, so grab your repositionable adhesive. Whenever I'm working with anything with a point like this, I always use my repositionable adhesive to adhere it, because that way I can make sure I can get all the way out to the tip of that paper without worrying about my adhesive and having to fold things under and go crazy with that. Okay, I'm just going to put one of these triangles in each corner, so not in the middle of my layout, but on each outside corner of my layout there will be a green triangle. Okay, so there's that page. Now we're going to do this page. Do you ever flip your cardstock pieces over to adhere them? I do that a lot, and I've commented on videos before that I thought that was silly, but I still do it. It's a reflex kind of more than anything. But I thought kind of I was the only one that really did that. And I was watching a video the other day of Noreen Smith, who now works for Home Office, and she was talking about how she does that. And I thought, well, that's awesome, because I've been doing it for years and I thought I was the only one. Okay, so now we're going to adhere these pieces together. I'm going to just put, rather than going right in the middle, I'm going to offset this 1/2 inch strip so that there's roughly 1/8 of an inch of it showing around the outside. We may need to do some trimming on the inside of it, but that's okay. I want there to be just a little bit, there's a little bit of decorative and uniqueness to this, right? So same thing here, going to line it up roughly in the same distance from the outside edge as we adhere it down. Keep in mind when you do the top one that it's going to be the opposite edge. It'll be along the top edge of your ribbon, not the bottom. See? So like this. Okay, now we're going to, I'm going to grab my scissors and trim these up real quick so that I'm not dealing with a bunch of little tails. We still may have more trimming to do, so don't put your scissors away when you're done trimming your pieces. Alright, now the idea is that these pieces come, the long pieces that are not angled on this side, come all the way to the center jeeping and are just flat against the center jeeping. Okay, we're going to be about 1/2 inch away from the top, 1/2 inch away from the bottom. Okay, and I'm laying them on there so that I can kind of see where they're going to go. That way I can go ahead and adhere these on. And I'm not making one too close to an edge. And again, I'm using repositionable adhesive. Repositionable adhesive is going to be your best friend with a layout like this, because you may have to play with it just a little to get everything to line up the way you want it to. So I'm just going to turn this so that it's facing me and I can see how that's going to line up. And then I can make it straight along the top edge as well. Now I'm a little bit shy. And I would rather have these pieces come all the way to the middle and move this side piece in just a little. So what I'm going to do is try to keep that still in line and move it until it can be in the middle and in line or in the right place where the jeeping goes. Okay, so like that. And what that may mean is that I need to trim off some of something. But let's see. All right. So that seems to line up fairly well. I think maybe I just had this end piece a little crooked. Okay, so that's what we're going for. And we're gonna do the same thing over here on this side. So let's go ahead and get these ribbons attached. Okay, so there's one. Alright, mine's buckling, so bear with me a second. I don't want it to buckle, so I'm going to lift this end up and set it down again so that hopefully it will not do that. There we go. Okay. Okay, now we'll go ahead and adhere this side. Now this side will be easier to do because we can kind of line it up with the other page, which is what we want. We want it to line up so that it looks like one continuous frame going across both of the pages. So I'm gonna overlap the pages like this, and then I can line up my top and bottom strip, and in doing so then this end strip should line up just right. Let's see how that works. think this one is not quite in the right kilter. Because if the angle is off at all, then these angles don't work out. All right, there we go. Awesome. Okay. Now, what we do need to also do is our mats, which remember I said we were going to do later. So we're going to do some mats for these 4 pictures. And these pictures are 4x6. And since there's only 4 of them, I'm going to go a little wider with my mats because I feel like it's okay to do that because I have more space. So actually, I'm going to set this piece aside. Maybe we'll use that on something else. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab my paper trimmer. I know that each of these photos is a 4x6. So I want 4.5 by 6.5. Let's see, 4.5 and 6.5 is, so we're going to do magic mats. 4.5 and 6.5 is 11. So that means if I cut 1 inch off of this and make it an 11-inch square, I should be able to get 4.5 by 6.5 mats out of this one piece of cardstock. So we're going to start at 4.5 inches, and each time we measure up here, we're going to put the paper at 4.5 inches. We're going to come down here to 6.5 inches, and that's where we're going to start our cut. And we're going to cut forward. Okay, then we're going to turn it clockwise. Again, place the paper up here at 4.5 inches. Come down here to, I'm putting the edge of my housing at 7.5, which puts my blade at 6.5. There's 1. So 4.5. Coming down here. There's 2. Turn it again. 4.5. And there's 3 and 4. And you have a little 2-inch square left over. All right. Awesome. Okay. So there's our 4 mats. So we're going to go ahead and mat each of these photos just as they are. Giving it a nice 1/4 inch. And the top and the bottom somehow have a little bit more, which means my photos are cut just a little off, which I've noticed seems to be the case oftentimes. Sometimes my photos are not coming back from the printer cut in exactly a 4x6, which can be troublesome. But it's all right. It is what it is, right? There's far more significant things to worry about in this life than a photo that is slightly off in its measurement. Now this church is really a cool cool place. And somewhere I have another photo that I think I'd like to add to this layout that shows or talks about the history of this church that we happen to stop by. And so I want to leave just a little bit of room so that maybe I can come back and add that photo at some point. Don't know exactly what happened to it or why it wasn't with this bunch of pictures. Oh, that's right, this is going to go on the other side. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna lay these on here with kind of like so. We're gonna use the greenery that we have to accent a few things. So let me see this. Okay, so I'm not sure where I got these, but they are so delicate. So delicate. So I really would like to use them up so that I don't have to keep storing them, because I feel like every time I have to put them away, I'm wrecking them. I hope that's doesn't sound horrendous, but it is. It's a concern. So I'm just going to cut this in half. I can see here where the pattern turns to go the other direction. So we're going to have a half and half kind of situation. I'm going to have this come off the top and go, let's see, they've got it going all the way to the edge of the jeeping. And so we're going to do the same thing with this one, only down a little bit, since our top photo is not vertical, it's horizontal. I mean, our right photo on the right. Okay, so we're going to do like that. Then I was thinking I would use this one on the bottom, and the bottom one goes across like this. Or we could use this one, which is a little bit of a different colored green, but I kind of like that better than this one. So we may have to wait and use this one on a different layout. All right, so let's see. So I want to make this so that I can add another photo up there if I want to. So I'm not going to adhere that too far up here. I'm going to leave that a little bit on the open side. But I do still want to have a journal box. So maybe I should adhere the journal box with some temporary adhesive, and that way I can move it. I think that's what I'll do. I'll add that in with some of my repositionable adhesive, and then I'll go try to find those other layouts, or I mean the other photos, sorry, the other photos that go with it. I think there's just one. All right, so here's the center. The leaf right here is the center of this laser border. Yeah. So this is going to go here. All right. Let me go ahead and adhere these photos down. Okay, I'm putting repositionable adhesive on this laser border, partly because it's easiest because of all the gaps in the laser border, but also because if I need to adjust it, I can. I'm putting it right along so that the stem that goes down the center of the leaves is right along the top, as much as I can, right along the top of the frame that's going around the whole page. Okay, so just like so. Okay, then this one I'm going to make sure my adhesive is only on the bottom half, so that if I do decide I want to add, change, adjust, I can do that with minimal wear and tear on the leaves of this piece, because I don't want to have to take it off the paper. I think it would not survive if I had to take it off to move it, because the stem is just really delicate. The leaves are not delicate, but the stem is delicate, and I've had it for years. So because I've had it for so long, it's been shuffled around and moved. Hello. Moved from one storage idea to another storage idea, and you know, things just have a harder time surviving when that happens. This one I'm just going straight down the middle, and this goes all the way out to the jeeping, and then I'm using the frame of whatever the lower photo is to kind of guide where the stem on the greenery goes, and then the leaves just sort of fall where they may from there. Okay, so we've got that. And this guy I'm gonna have up here in this corner, so we're gonna use repositionable adhesive so that, again, if I need to take it off, I can. It's just gonna be kind of tucked underneath there. That's a cute little jaunty angle, right? All right, and I have some embellishments we can use. So I punched these Monstera leaves from the Monstera leaf punch that we have, and thought they would be cute to use. I also have a few things from other collections, Serene Waters and vitamin C, various things like that. I did pull this cute little sign out, but I don't think I'm going to use it because I have this. So I don't think although I could write on it, food truck. Maybe I'll do that. Shrimp truck. Shrimp truck is probably best to put on there. I also had these cute little goldfish that I thought, you know, I'm not very good about using these cute acrylic stickers that seem to come with all of our embellishments, and sometimes they are just darling. I just forget to use them. So let's see how we can maybe use these to dress up our page as well. All right, so I have just add water, which may seem like an odd thing to put on this page, but I don't know, I was thinking food and shrimp. I don't know. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna I'm gonna add a little plant behind. And maybe this plant, let's see. Maybe a leaf. Should we add a monstera leaf in there? That'd be cute, I think. We could put that in here, maybe right here. Maybe do the crane and a couple of other leaves. Formulating a plan. Could put this up here more. And do this one more down here. I think I like that better. And then we can add, let me grab a pen. Let's see. Just use blue. All right, shrimp truck. I think I made my S way too big, but that's okay. We'll get the idea, right? It always takes me back to my high school days when I'm putting little dots next to or on the ends of my letters. Okay. I think this is going to go in right behind here. Shrimp truck. Just like that. Let me wipe off the adhesive that we don't need though. You can see that was the by the lake sign that that was a part of one of those collections. I think Serene Waters. All right, so that one's gonna go there. This one I might just go ahead and pop up with some foam squares. Just a couple. I need something from the remainder of what I've got to kind of go over here, and then we'll deal with the little goldfish and decide what we're going to do with them. Just add water. Okay, let's see. We've got another gonna kind of build this out a little more to the left so that it fills in that space just a little bit more. So a little bit like that. Could even add a third one, maybe. And that can go kind of in the corner. Could even add just a little bit of water if we wanted. That is add too much. I don't know, I kind of like it. Let's see. Add just a little bit of water underneath there, and then we'll pop this up with some foam squares like we did that one. And then we need to see about these goldfish, which I just really think I want to use. And I don't know if it might be too much, but I'm hoping it's not too much. Okay, so this one's gonna go kind of off the edge over here. Just a little. And I have adhesive I need to rub off. Pardon me a second. That was sticking to my fingers and I should have done that sooner. Okay. So now we have that done. I feel like a few little fishies would be appropriate on this page. What do you think? If we just put a couple kind of swimming around over here. I don't want to necessarily go crazy with them. I just want to be a little have a little fun with the acrylic. How's that? All right, I think I'm done just messing around with this particular layout. Tell me what you think, and let me know. And if you happen to make it over to Oahu anytime in the near future or not too distant future, go visit Giovanni's shrimp truck. You won't be disappointed. They have other things besides shrimp, but we just couldn't help ourselves, and we just had to have the shrimp because it's looked so yummy, and it was. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have many more creative moments. Until next time, have a great day.